Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I just walked out of seeing The Exorcist Believer. Yes, I'm a little late to the party on this. I know it's been out for several weeks, so I am going to spoil some of this. If you haven't seen it, there will be spoilers in this review, so be warned. I did get a chance to see this when it came out earlier this month. October is a very busy month for me. A lot going on, and until today, I had a little bit of free time to come over and see this. The theater is only 5 minutes from my house, but I just haven't had the time. But here we are. I finally got to see it. I was in the theater all alone. It was like a private screening, so that's always cool. You don't have to worry about people talking or on their cell phone, so I really got to concentrate on the movie. And look, this is a legacy sequel to the original The Exorcist, the William Friedkin original The Exorcist. Universal, from what I've read, paid like $300 million to get the rights, which seems insane to me considering the franchise. I love the original Exorcist. I reviewed it a few weeks ago. You can check out that review. Scroll on down. I gave it a 10 out of 10. To me, it is a perfect horror film. It's a perfect movie. William Friedkin directed the shit out of it. It really builds to something that's truly spectacular, creepy, and scary. And it's so well acted. Everything about that movie just works. Exorcist 2 sucks ass. It's an awful movie. It's considered one of the worst movies of all time. I know some people like it for how bad it is, but it's a truly piece of shit movie. It's awfully made. It's just an awful script. It's terrible. I haven't seen it in years, but I don't need to see it again. I know it sucks. Exorcist 3 is a very underrated sequel. It's a great horror movie in its own right. I love that film. I just rewatched it last week, and it was a great way to bring the Exorcist franchise back. William Peter Blatty coming back to actually direct the film and write it. And then we got Exorcist 4, The Beginning, which had a tumultuous production with a whole movie being reshot by Rennie Harlan. If you've ever seen the Rennie Harlan version, I never saw the original version by Paul Schrader. I heard it's kind of boring. The Rennie Harlan version's okay. It's entertaining. It's not a great movie. It's okay. You could tell it was chopped up and reshot and all that stuff. So fast forward to this. David Gordon Green, coming off of the Halloween trilogy, very successful, especially with 2018. Halloween Kills was really successful, but the very, let's say, divisive Halloween Ends to cap the trilogy got the job to bring The Exorcist back to the big screen through Blumhouse. Now, I don't know what the production budget was on this. I'm assuming they probably did it for about $20-25 million. So this movie's probably going to eke out a profit for Universal, but it has not caught the box office on fire like they had hoped, and to recoup the money they spent to get the rights. Now, to get into the movie, Leslie Odom Jr. plays Victor. He is a single dad, but in the beginning of the film, we see him and his wife in the Dominican Republic, and he's a photographer, and so was his wife. She's pregnant with their daughter at the time. And an earthquake happens. His wife gets severely injured, and the doctors pretty much tell him he has to make a decision, either save his baby girl or save his wife. He can't have both, and he makes the decision to save his baby girl. We fast forward to living in Georgia, where they shot this in Atlanta and Savannah. And she is a good friend in school. And this other couple who, Leslie Odom Jr. is probably the best character in this film. The other girl's parents, especially the father, is such a D-bag. I did not like him at all. So unlikable. The mother was okay, and she came around towards the end, but the father's just a complete asshole. I did not like him at all through the whole film. And pretty much the girls go into the woods after school one day, and they disappear for 3 days. And then 3 days later, they get found in this barn 30 miles away on this farm, and they don't remember anything. They think they've only been gone for a few hours. And pretty soon, being an Exorcist film, strange shit starts to happen. We bring in Chris McNeil, Ellen Burstyn from the original film, for the legacy cameo, because she's not in the film very much. The trailer makes it seem like she's in the film a lot, but trust me, she may be in the film 5 minutes, maybe 6 total, really. And her role's pretty much just to give answers to the plot going forward about what's going on. It's pretty much they could have did this movie without her, honestly, but she's in it. And then we get the exorcism stuff, which they bring multiple faiths together, and when they hold the exorcism in Victor's house, Leslie Odom Jr.'s character's house, and at the end, one girl dies, one girl lives, and then Chris McNeil at the end, we don't see Regan at all, but at the end, there's a cameo by Linda Blair. She shows up at her mother's hospital room because Chris McNeil went to the one girl's house, got stabbed in the eyes with a crucifix, and she was in the hospital, and we see Regan right at the end of the film, and that's the end of Exorcist Believer. What to like about this film? Well, I think the acting is pretty good. Leslie Odom Jr. is definitely the best character here, most interesting character here. He is the most to play off of, not that the script's all that great. I think the girls are pretty good, and they work well. So other than that, I mean, the first half of the film, I was on board with this film. I thought it was pretty interesting, the girls disappearing and all that. The least interesting stuff was once we got to the exorcism stuff, because I'm going to be up front. Let's just put the cards on the table here. For being a legacy sequel, this doesn't even hold a candle to the original. And that might seem like a cool thing to say, but not, honestly, from just the story itself, this movie is just, it seemed like a generic exorcism script that they slapped the Exorcist name on and made. And I know David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, and their writing partner Scott Teems wrote the script for this, but this honestly felt, when the movie ended and I just walked out of the theater, it felt like a generic exorcism script that we've seen a million times since The Exorcist. That's the gold standard, and that's what it seems like. Just it could have been named anything, and it never felt like it even tried to reach the heights of the original The Exorcist. Now, the film's competently made by David Gordon Green, and he does manage to pull some some cool shots, some suspenseful moments. Never gets scary. The exorcism at the end, the last 20 minutes, is kind of, it's okay. It's nothing we haven't seen before, and it doesn't hold a candle to the exorcism scene in the original. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to squeeze a trilogy out of this. I really don't. I heard Universal, from what I read, is going to pump the brakes and rethink their strategy going forward, because they have a lot of money on the line, so they're going to have to make another film. I don't know if David Gordon Green's going to do it. I know he said he might not be back to do the sequel. If I was him, I'd step away and not come back. I don't think this is his franchise, and honestly, I think he did a pretty good job with Halloween 2018, and Halloween Kills has its moments, and even Halloween Ends, I don't hate that movie, but I don't love it. Maybe he should step away from horror in general for a little while. He's a decent filmmaker, he's a solid filmmaker, and he tries to emulate William Friedkin. There's a lot of zooms in the movie. I don't think they're handled as well as Friedkin's movie, but then there's a lot of quick cuts. There's a lot of studio horror movie making on display. And what I mean by that, a lot of loud noises, a lot of quick cuts, a lot of flashy lighting, but there's not much suspense here. There's really not. I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, it's an okay movie. It doesn't hold a candle to the original, and I would give it a 5.5 out of 10. 5.5 out of 10 for The Exorcist Believer. Have you seen it yet? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share this video. I greatly would appreciate that. I'll be back soon. I'm not going to have any more videos the rest of the week. I'm heading to Pennsylvania for my sister's wedding. I'm actually going to be giving the ceremony. I am ordained, so if you need somebody to marry you, shoot me an email. Maybe we could work something out. We're heading back to Pennsylvania for my sister's wedding, so this is the only review this week. But I'll be back before Halloween with the review for Full Eclipse. But until next time, bye.